Welcome, friend. Glad to see you again. This video finds you because you are ready to feel, know, and own your intrinsic worthiness. And in order to give you a direct experience of what it means and feels to be worthy, we're going to do the one thing that you've kind of been putting off for your entire life, which is you're actually going to first let go of the belief that says that you're not worthy. Look at it this way. If you want to affirm, speak into creation, be and believe I am worthy, doesn't it kind of make sense that you should get rid of the limiting belief that says the exact opposite? And I will show you the method that I'm using to help my clients completely and permanently transcend, dissolve their limiting beliefs in a matter of minutes, called the Sovereign Mind Method. This is a magic method of commanding energy, using your spoken intention to make decisions, choices about what it is that you believe, and more importantly, who it is that you fundamentally are. So let's dive in. We have to give you a new paradigm, a new update of what a limiting belief actually is for this method to make sense. A limiting belief is not a statement about reality that you think is true. That's a 20th century definition of a limiting belief. What a limiting belief actually is your identification with a specific definition. You're taking your infinite creative power and you're saying, I am unworthy. I am not good enough. I am not important. So notice, I am, the sense of identity is persistent and consistent across all of your limiting beliefs. I am the hell spell that I don't want to be. Oh no, I'm unworthy. Right now, you believe I am not worthy. That's a definition. Once upon a time, you had no idea what worthy or unworthy was. That wasn't a concept in your reality until someone told you what it means. And then once you agreed, oh, worthy means, and not worthy means, suddenly you started to judge and compare yourself at a subconscious level as either being worthy based on certain conditions or unworthy based on certain conditions. And now we get to the point where you can make a free will decision to undefine your definition of what it means to be worthy, what it means to be unworthy, so that you wipe the slate clean. You're no longer restricted. You're no longer spellbound by that limitation program. The moment that you decide to say these words out loud, this is where we get into the actual sovereign mind method itself. The idea of it's so simple. You, as the infinite, all-powerful creator of your reality, have complete free will to choose what it is that you identify as, and complete free will to choose what you believe. Always. There's no imaginable exception. If you no longer want to believe that you're this concept, let alone the opposite of a concept, not worthy, here's what you do. You start by asking yourself a question. Will I choose to believe I am worthy, unworthy, or none of the fucking above? It's totally up to you. You can have any belief that you want. Some people want to believe that they're worthy, and that's okay. That's why we have the title of this video here. I usually recommend transcending both sides of the polarity, neither investing your faith in the idea that you're worthy or unworthy, but rather returning to the present moment awareness that you are beyond both of those spells. But it's up to you to choose to believe. Are you going to keep believing I am not worthy? Make that choice, yes or no. Once you've made that choice, the universe is conspiring to set in motion all of the events, teachings, and experiences that you need in order to reaffirm and experience the fruition of your choice, starting now. So, I invite you to now ask yourself, is there any part of me, any part, and really search within yourself, is there any part of me that doesn't want to let that spell go? Really look. Some of you are saying, no, I want to get rid of it. I hate believing that I'm unworthy. I don't want to feel that way. Just take a moment and really look inside of yourself. Is there a little 5-year-old that wants to hold on to it? Is there a contraction when you ask that question? Is there a sense of like, well, that's my past to be a victim? Or, well, that's been who we are for so long, I couldn't possibly get rid of it. Or, well, that did keep me safe in childhood and I kind of don't want to let it go. Many of you will find that the real reason that it's still in your reality at all isn't because you're consciously thinking to yourself, I want to be unworthy, I want to be unworthy. It's because there's a young version of you that's frozen in the past that is clinging on to that belief with a death grip. And it thinks that this is my true identity, this is how I stay safe, this is how I motivate myself to be better, this is how I get love and affection. All of these are illusions, ultimately. And if you want a shortcut process to help these parts of you have those core needs met, you can say these words out loud. Higher mind, present the optimal frequency to all parts who believe I am not worthy. I'll say it again for your benefit. Higher mind, present the optimal frequency to all parts who believe I am not worthy. Notice what happens. Do you feel a loosening in your body? Do you feel the weight of that starting to dissolve? If so, congrats. And if there's no part of you that was holding on to it in the first place, that command is unnecessary. You can just skip ahead to the next step. But for many of you who had parts holding on, this will provide a much helpful release and relief of your attachment to that belief. And when there's no part of you that's attached to the belief, letting it go is easy, instantaneous, and it starts here and now. So I invite you to repeat these words out loud, starting with the first command of the sovereign mind method. I undefine all definitions of I am not worthy. I undefine all definitions of I am not worthy. That feels good, doesn't it? Huh. What just happened there? You just made the free will decision, my friend, to let go of your definition of what not worthy is, looks like, means, feels like. And in that moment, poof, there's no definition of that concept in your field of reality. You're free. You don't need it anymore. And because a belief is more than just the definition, a belief is also your identification with that story. That's why the belief is literally spelled I am not worthy. It's very helpful to use the next command of the sovereign mind method, which is to say, I disidentify all identities of I am not worthy. I disidentify all identities of I am not worthy. Poof. Oh, that feels good too, doesn't it? Right, because when your identity is no longer wrapped around that spell, you're no longer the one who believes it. So you dissolve the belief layer, you dissolve the identity layer. Now both of those things are cleared, but it might be helpful to forgive yourself for believing that lie. See, forgiveness dissolves all of your self-judgmental energies that you have wrapped around yourself and used as a whip against yourself for the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I bet that you've never forgiven yourself for believing that. So let's do that next by saying out loud, I forgive myself completely for believing I am unworthy. I forgive myself completely for believing I am unworthy. A weight off the shoulders, another release. You can further amplify this process by saying, I invite compassion through all I am. I invite compassion through all I am. I am compassion for all ideas of being unworthy. I am compassion for all ideas of being unworthy. Now with that command, what you're fundamentally doing is you're embodying the energy, the frequency of compassion, and sending that out into the very morphic resonance field of the idea of being unworthy. And you're playing a very, very key part in dissolving that energetic structure, that global hell spell that's cast upon the entire field, the entire resonance of Earth. So it's a nice thing to do. To just give yourself compassion. Share that compassion. And now, if you wish, you can look and see, oh, is there any trace of that belief left? Notice what happens now when you say out loud, not in your mind, but actually out loud to really test and see for yourself. What happens now when you say, I am unworthy? Oh, one of two things. Either it's kind of light, neutral, funny. It's like, what the fuck was I doing believing that? Pfft. If so, congrats, you win. Or there could still be a little bit of charge to it. It's not what it was before. It's diminished, but there's still some charge. In which case, the only question you need to ask is, what part of me doesn't want to let that go completely? Because I guarantee you, after facilitating this process more than 1,000 times for many hundreds of people, the only thing in the universe that is powerful enough to prevent you from being free is you. So ask yourself, what part of me doesn't want to let that go completely? And you'll be surprised. Oh, look, there's a little 10-year-old in there that says, this is how I connected with my mom. Oh, this is how I motivate myself to improve. Oh, this actually keeps me safe. Oh, this is my true identity. All illusions. But nonetheless, we welcome that part with curiosity and compassion. Talk to that part of you and help it feel safe letting go. That's it. When it feels safe letting go, repeat the commands. You're free. Now, some of you really truly do want to believe I am worthy. And that's okay. Go through a season in life. Feel what it's like to actually believe that, if you want. The way I teach my students to create new beliefs is through the energy and the frequency of love. You can welcome love into your experience in any moment by choice, simply by saying, I welcome in the feeling of love. Notice how that lands for you. Does it flow effortlessly all the way through your body, or does it reach a certain part in your body and then start to contract? If so, that's fine. You just have other limiting beliefs that are preventing you from freely experiencing love, in which case you might want to make some choices to let those go. In which case you might want to head over to the Sovereign Mind School community, where we have free courses that teach you how to use these tools in order to instantaneously dissolve your beliefs, unlock your God-given superpower to choose your identity and who you are, and reach the next level of your creative capacity. You might want to do that. I would love to see you there. And for many of you, you can actually feel that love, and if that's true, and you really want to believe that you're worthy, I invite you to repeat after me. I welcome in love that I am worthy. I welcome in love that I am worthy. And notice how that feels. You can feel the love landing in your body, and it feels good. It doesn't feel like that old hell spell, not worthy, does it? It feels really nice. And now, notice how it feels in your body to say, I am worthy. Suddenly you can feel that new energy, can't you? If you use that tool as a daily practice to cultivate the love inside of you that's always accessible, that's everywhere, all the time, and you intentionally weave it in to that idea, that belief, that concept of being worthy, you can create that belief. And you can live with the belief, I am worthy. Now, I teach my students all the time, I don't recommend starting there. I recommend just clearing as many limiting beliefs as possible so that you're no longer spellbound by a sea of illusions that cause you to misperceive only everything, so that you don't have any fear in your system that's causing you to act out of integrity with your values and hide away from shining the light that you naturally are and sharing your creative genius and gifts with the world. If you focus for just a few months on discovering and clearing your limiting belief system, you'll become an entirely new person, but that new person is actually who you authentically are underneath all of the old stories. And the light that you are has been constantly trying to shine from your subconscious into the world, but you've been suppressing it systematically. Not anymore, not if you choose. Come hang out with us. We'll share some ways that can help you dissolve these limiting beliefs very fast. And I trust that you've had a meaningful experience of that today, so you don't even need to believe me. Thank you very much for sharing this experience with me. I love you lots. I'll be back to share more soon. Heaven, yes. Be blessed. Gladly so.